I am a veterinary technician with rescuer tendencies. I've spent much of my career working at an emergency veterinary clinic in Ohio. One morning, as our staff was preparing for a busy day of surgeries, a man walked in with a kitchen cutting board. On the cutting board was a 6-month-old long-haired Siamese kitten. The kitten was not doing well, and the reason was unfortunately very obvious. Its leg was badly broken and almost completely severed from its body. He told us that the kitten must have crawled up under his car's hood into the engine compartment since it was cold outside. When he started his car, the kitten's leg was caught in the fan, and it sustained the horrible injury. After looking the kitten over, the doctor told the man that the kitten might be able to be saved, but the leg would have to be amputated. The man expressed disgust at the idea and replied that he considered it cruel to make the kitten live its life with only 3 legs, so he asked for it to be euthanized. Believing the kitten could be saved, the doctor suggested that the man sign over the kitten to the clinic, which would allow someone to take ownership of the animal and nurse it back to health. The man reluctantly agreed, and shortly the doctor brought the kitten, still on the cutting board, into the back room and asked, "Does anyone want a kitten?" The kitten looked at me with his big blue eyes and that long-haired gray furry face, and I fell in love. I decided to take him, and so began what was to be a much more lengthy process than I had anticipated. Later that morning, the doctor operated on the kitten, and the mangled leg was successfully removed. The kitten began the road to recovery. Unfortunately, the road was not to be as smooth as we had hoped. I took the kitten home and named him Jasper. A few days later, I noticed that his breathing wasn't quite right. I brought him back to our clinic, and we took some x-rays. After they were developed and we looked them over, we realized that Jasper had what was called a diaphragmatic hernia. That is when the muscle that separates the chest from the abdomen has a tear in it, and the tear allows the contents of the abdomen to come up into the chest cavity, making it difficult to breathe. Jasper needed surgery to repair his injury. Jasper's surgery went well, and he was on the mend again. Unfortunately, he experienced another complication. He had developed a fever, which usually means that his body is fighting off an infection. Most infections that occur after surgery do not resolve on their own, and they can be very dangerous and potentially life-threatening if not treated with antibiotics. Jasper's situation was unusual, though, since we were not able to detect an infection through testing. We treated his fever for several days, but it seemed as if he didn't actually have an infection. He had us on pins and needles with his state, and we kept doing everything we could, despite not finding any real signs of infection other than the fever. Thankfully, after several days, his fever broke and he showed signs of feeling better again. Whatever had been wrong with him was past, and he was recovering nicely now. I was finally able to take him home after about a week. Despite Jasper being my first 3-legged cat, he really didn't seem much different than other cats. He ran around and jumped up on chairs, couches, and counters so well that except for a slight limp, you almost wouldn't know that he was missing a leg. One funny thing about him, due to his missing leg, was that when he ran up the stairs, his back end would swing around, making his tail spin like it was a propeller. Other than the way he ran around, he was just like any other cat. Jasper lived a long, full, happy life. He was 18 when he passed away from heart failure that had nothing to do with his past injuries. While some people might think it would be cruel to make a cat live out its life with only 3 legs, I think anyone that spent a little time with Jasper could see that he very much enjoyed the life that he was able to have, despite only having 3 legs.